One of the most requested sections that I've been asked to build doing client work in Shopify is honestly cards and sliders. And I totally get it. Like if I go across some of the biggest sites like Nike, we have card sliders here. In KOTN, which is a Shopify site, we do have some sliders, like over here. And same with in Lululemon, we do have sliders as well too. And I've been thinking lately, like, why is this such a big design trend? And I think that it honestly has to do a lot with desktop, which is what us as designers and developers are always working on, and a lot more with what happens on mobile. So, of course, when we shrink our screen down to mobile here, it just makes a lot more sense to view something that we can slide across that feels a little bit more natural, like what Netflix or Airbnb do. So in this tutorial, I want to show you how you can easily add carousels and sliders into Shopify. And also I want to show you a little bit about how to go about building your own slider if you're looking to develop something from scratch. But I want to start with the shortcut. And essentially what the shortcut is as you notice inside the theme customizer here, I do have these demo sliders here that look like some of the examples we just looked at within KOTN and Lululemon. And I think Nike was up at the top. And these are like really easily like customizable, and you can add in different like section width and padding and so much more, which I'll show you in a second. But it's all added through a product, an app I've been working on over the past 2 years now that a lot of professional teams use. It's called Flexi. So Flexi, you could easily add the section just with one click. And what makes Flexi different than other section libraries is it gives you a lot of flexibility within the inputs, the controls, and it's really set up for someone who is consistently working on Shopify sites. Like if you need to put in class names or if you need to put in certain like spacing or padding, you can totally do that in Flexi. Now, the app is on the Shopify App Store. If you just want to try it out, you could totally do that for free. And you could try out the starter section just to get a feel for how it works. But we do have the full library access at $35 a month. And considering I've charged, anywhere between $500 to a few $1,000s per section, honestly, it's a pretty good deal. On top of that, something that you can do is, this is just for the library access if you want to keep using the library each month and getting the updates. If you just want to install the card slider that I'm showing you today, you can just pay $35 or even work on a development store to test drive the section and then obviously cancel the subscription so you don't need to keep paying. Now, without further ado, if we go back into the theme customizer over here, and we start back at the top, by default, this is how the section will drop into Shopify. And you'll notice that there's multiple different layers to it. We have an outer section layer, then we have a card slider layer. And this slider layer is really the meat and potatoes of the whole setup, because if we notice some of our settings over here, we actually have slider settings, which is super helpful. And again, since I use this across multiple client sites, I'm typically able to match the slider to whatever brand that I'm working on. So with that in mind, we're able to change, how many slides we want on desktop. And so if I put this number to 2, you'll notice that it changes instantly to 2.5 slides across desktop. We can also set it to loop, autoplay. Also, even small details like the slide duration. Like if we click like this, we're able to actually speed that up, because in my opinion, I do like a nice, not slow touch to a slide in interaction, but I like it to feel weighty. Like when you use a nice piece of furniture, or when you open like a really expensive cabinet, like that soft close or that delayed interaction, if it's just slow enough, it has like this weighty premium feel to it. But also understand that sometimes, just with the nature of things, you want to keep the store snappy. So if I reduce this duration to 100, which will be really quick, and hit save, we'll notice that it's like super quick and responsive. On Also, another really useful thing to use within this carousel is within the arrows themselves. So you can obviously adjust them top and middle and bottom left, but you can even replace the arrow with an SVG. And so if you use something like fontawesome.com, you'll be able to drag and drop in an arrow directly from that library. Additionally, you can adjust like background color and border color, and then you can even you can go crazy with the spacing. And I'm not going to go too in depth with spacing in this video just because it's, I can just completely nerd out on it. But for example, if we go like 2 rem around here, all of a sudden we've started to really transform the carousel. And I actually find this black to be a little too stark, so I'm going to drag it down to there, and you'll notice that within a few seconds we really transformed the way that this carousel looked. Now with our examples below, I used the top carousel card slider as a reference point, and then unlike most never mind section libraries, but also even other themes, they don't have nested groups and nested blocks. And essentially what nested groups and blocks are is the ability to arrange content within a group. It's just a fancy way of saying that we in the past we would be stuck with just having, heading and text, and we couldn't rearrange the blocks, but we can now rearrange them in any order. Obviously, we'd want the heading at the top, but we can also even add in, for example, if we wanted, a link in here, we could add in a link below, and then obviously we would want to style the link a little bit. But we can also even use like a link animation here, and it gives us like that nice, I also understand it's slightly opinionated, so it's turned off by default. But going down, we'll notice that we could also have different cards. And so in this card over here, we have, text within the card wrapper, like so. And again, we could add in more content. So let's say we wanted like an icon, for example, we could put in an icon and put that above. And let's say we wanted the icon to be larger. We could set that to a width of 32 pixels. And again, we could drag and drop in our SVG or even an image. And the way that you can get different cards within our slider is if we go into our layout slider, we can hit add block and then add in a group card, a background card, an image hover card, and so much more. And for the last card example, this is how it looks. And it has this really nice hover effect, which is actually surprisingly easy to design with, because if you click on the card, you can hit this show hover effect, and this will just show the hover state just so that you can edit. For example, if we wanted a bit more of a description in here, we could drag and drop in a description block, center align it, set it to white, and I want the text small, and I'm just gonna say like for all men, and you can kind of get the gist of where we're going with this. Now, partly what makes carousels so difficult to create from scratch is they can be kind of confusing, because typically you can use a lot of different packages or libraries such as Flexi or Swiper, which are JS libraries, but all of the card sliders within Flexi are built with Swiper. And I have to say, at this point in the video, I'm going to get slightly more technical and going over code, but for the nerds that want to stick around, this might be of use to you. And so I used Swiper to build all the different carousels because it is bloody fast, like super, super responsive. We're not loading in a lot of JavaScript. It's mostly CSS based variables. And if I go over to the get started, we have this area here which shows that, yeah, Blaze is blazing fast, and Blaze is only 2.1 milliseconds to load on a page, whereas all the other carousel type packages that a developer would use, or maybe even you would use, or are quite a bit slower. So what makes these carousels so great is partly the speed, and all in all, they're pretty easy to understand as well. If I dive into the code with how they work, so again, since we're using modern architecture, we're using nested blocks. I have tons of videos on that if you want to check them out. But within the block, we have Flexi layout slider up top here. And if we go down, this is the code. And essentially how it works is we add in the package, and then we have just a pretty basic setup where we're just pulling in all the different Shopify settings through these over here. So we have a setup for, how many slides we want on desktop, how many slides we want on mobile, if we want it to loop, drag, autoplay, so much more. If there's a setting in here that you want to add, feel free to message me or my team, and we'll get back to you with a patch for Flexi, since we are always updating it. Additionally, we also have a more of a partner plan. If you're an agency looking to partner up, we can support you with that. But yeah, essentially it's a pretty straightforward implementation with just a Blaze wrapper and a Blaze container. Then we have a little bit of text up top. Then we have the main content that renders out our content for blocks, which is each one of our groups. And again, the way that this is structured is we have layouts and then we have groups. And so for the content for blocks, we actually have a group block, a group card, image with background group, and also image hover group that you can find within the blocks folder. I think that's really all that I will dive into with the code, but essentially if you're looking to create a really fast carousel that's custom and you don't want to use Flexi, I highly recommend that you try Blaze and follow their documentation over here. If you go into installation, they give you a bit of a rundown, and they also give you a really nice, easy setup guide to follow. And you don't necessarily need to use nested groups or blocks, but again, I like to do so just because it makes editing within the theme customizer a little bit more flexible. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be uploading a new video every single week or 2 weeks, depending on the video length. And each video will pertain to different sections that you can build or add within Shopify. So it's centered completely around working within the theme customizer, along with Shopify code, best practices, and so much more. Anyways, cheers.